around courage. So courage. I see courage every time I'm on OPWP. Just the courage to be here. It takes courage to make time, to provide space, and commitment to follow through. So I see courage in every face that comes on my action hour and everyone else's action hour. So courage is anytime we make a choice. So what do you think about that? Or what do you want to talk about for a minute or so about courage?
Yeah. So a newfound way that I'm going forward to think about this time in these magic minutes that we have is I'm literally going Q&A. Okay, let's Q&A about courage in our life. Like, what kind of questions do we have about how courage shows up for us? Is it something that we can recognize and see when it's happening? Can we acknowledge ourselves for the courageous acts that we have every single day and the steps of, you know, those bigger things, you know, along the way? So I don't know, from this morning, I literally have the words, have the courage to walk, like on my paper in front of me. And it was in a complete sentence, but I forgot the thought before I could write it down. And then we were moving on to something else in the conversation, and I just left it at that. So have the courage to walk, what, you know, toward whatever, you know, however that looks. Sometimes it's sideways. Like sometimes it's sideways. So have the courage to walk
in place, right? You walk in place.
Walk in place. Keep moving.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I think that courage is like, to me, courage and faith go together. So, you know, they just kind of fit together. That, like when I wake up and I don't want to get up, I don't want to go get on Lectio this morning. I mean, went to bed late. I was tired. I didn't want to get up. And yet I said, I know that I will be fed. And so I am going to get up. That's courage. That's courage. That's commitment. That's faith, to walk into the space, you know, walk into the space. Yeah.
So good. Thank you.
Okay. So I can't see yet. I went to the eye doctor yesterday. I'll get my glasses soon so I can see. Anyway, go forth. Do your intention, Beck, wherever you end up. And I'll see you guys back in 40 minutes. Q&A around courage. So I'll just open it up. We had, when we ended, Beck was sharing her insights around courage. And so let's just, whomever wants to jump in and talk about courage, faith, doing it anyway, facing your fears, and whatever.
And all the things. I wanted to just, there was another God wink that Sue's saying, Mrs. Plouts, and I was like, what? As the teacher, part of me was like, whoa. That made me, that reminded me that I celebrated my 11th wedding anniversary, April 2nd. And we went to Goodwill and picked out an outfit for each other as part of our fun date celebration. And while we were there, I saw someone that I knew with her daughter, and her daughter told me that I dressed like a teacher. And I remembered when you, like, now thinking about this teacher, so I was wearing my, it's like a berry cardigan and my mustard or orangish dress and leggings, and, you know, the same thing, like that, comfort. I love wearing dresses like that. So anyways, because of the cardigan, I think she straight up just, and she's a teenager, she straight up was like, you dress like a teacher. Which has been in my mind as, do I want that? Like, do I accept that? If that's the truth, what she saw. And I was like, I believe that that's what she saw. And I was like, do I look like a teacher? Am I being seen in a way that, you know, is in alignment? And so anyways, that's where I'm bringing full circle courage and God winks, and the fact that my husband and I were a united front last night, applying for alternative schools for our kids. So
Awesome.
yeah, courage, lots of courage this week.
Absolutely. I'll have to tell you a little tiny funny story. When because you guys knew I taught school for 40 years. My kids, when they were little and they wanted my attention, they said Mrs. Sayer. And that's how they got my attention. They didn't say mom.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know that I'm proud of this, but I mean, it just when, you're talking about being called Mrs. Plouts. And that's honestly the truth. They would say Mrs. Sarah, and I'd right away look and see what they wanted.
Yeah. That's how it is with my mom too, because she's been in early learning development and all of that. And so it's the mom, like that here. And so we'll say Barb. And we say it exactly like that, Barb. And she's like, what?
It's funny, isn't it? But it's funny you say you dress like a teacher, because in my career as teaching, I've worked with there's different cultures within teaching. So if you're working with science teachers, because I did a lot of professional development, science teachers dress a certain way, and they all dress that way. They wear Birkenstocks, they wear, it's really interesting. I mean, it's like, if you're a science teacher, you're going to dress that way. If you're an administrator, you're going to dress another way. You're going to wear a suit. You're going to, so even within the culture of teaching, there's all these different cultures, and their dress is similar. But yeah, so I got it. Takes courage to break out of that.
That's intriguing. I'm excited to lean more into that, because I past me would definitely be like, I don't want to be labeled as a teacher. Like, that was something that I was like, I don't want to be labeled as a teacher, but I teach what I learn, and I'm a lifelong learner. So you better believe that I'm a teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the courage to own that.
Yeah.
Because when you're a learner, you're always teaching. And I'm a lifelong learner too. That's actually my passion, is learning. And so I'm not a science teacher, but I was involved in a huge science organization for about 12 years. I was the one that didn't dress like everybody else. And I was fine with it, because I like me, and I am me, and I dress for me, not for anybody else. But it was always funny, because I'd come in with my earrings and my, my nylons. And I mean, nobody except my age wears nylons. But anyway, I would come in there, and I definitely didn't look like everybody else, but it didn't bother me. It didn't bother them,
Free to be you.
Yeah. And some people won't do that. They would capitulate a group in order to feel like they belonged. And that to me is not courageous. That's not being yourself. And
conformity.
Yeah. And being afraid to be different, or to be yourself. The fear of being rejected, the fear of not being, those fears that we all have can be overcome by just being yourself, being true to yourself. Yeah. Anyway, fun talking about teachers. That's my wheelhouse. I know that one.
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you for the conversation.
So everybody have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Oh, wait.
You want to stop the recording and pass me host?